Kyrol, The Rising Shadow. Chapter 3. Kyrol sat in silence, staring out into the hypnotic view of hyperspace, its blue light reflecting on the cockpit glass. He had a lot on his mind, both with Liam and the strange vision he had. Normally, he'd be excited to go on a mission with just himself and Dasha, but this time was different. He couldn't explain it, but something felt off.
Hey, Brain!
Kyrol jolts up as he puts his headset back on. Sorry, I must have zoned out.
Yeah, no kidding. I've been talking to myself for 2 minutes. Is everything all right?
He turned slightly, catching her starfighter out of the corner of his view. Dasha was staring at him with that signature half-annoyed, half-worried expression of hers. It's Liam. Something's off. I mean, we barely hear from him anymore, and when we do, it's like he's a shadow of himself, and the council just keeps pushing him even harder.
Because he won't push back. He blames himself for everything that happened. Now he's trying to fix it all on his own. Still, he's one of the best pilots we've got. And, well, you've seen him in a duel.
Kyrol chuckled. Did you just compliment someone on their dueling skills?
Well, I never said he was better than me, but he's still better than you, so that's something.
The two shared a laugh before falling silent, both missing their friend, wishing he had been here with them. After a moment of silence, Kyrol spoke. With how much he's been through, I fear what it could lead to.
It's about what he did to those guards on Corellia, isn't it?
Shortly after returning from his first assignment with the 77th, Liam told Dasha about his usage of the dark side. Like Kyrol, she was scared about what it could lead to if left unchecked. Yeah, that look in his eyes, the hate and the rage, it was like a completely different person, and the friend I had known all my life was gone. I know why he used the dark side, believe me, I do, but where's the line? When does it go from being a last resort to using it all the time? I don't want to lose him, and right now it feels like I'm losing him.
I know. I don't want to lose him either.
She paused for a moment, trying to think of what to say before a sense of determination befell the young Padawan.
We won't. We'll reach him, one way or another.
Their ships exited hyperspace in perfect sync, the swirling tunnels snapping into a star-speckled black. Before them was Paxara, green, vibrant, and ancient. Thick forest blanketed most of the surface, only broken by the jagged mountain ranges that pierced the sky like ancient sentinels. They descended towards the tallest mountain, and at the base of the mountain was a wide circular landing platform, half covered in moss and mist. Beyond that, a large stone path stretched upwards into the mountains, towards the Enclave, though it had a massive ray shield blocking any unauthorized entry.
I guess that's it.
It's strange. It's kind of like the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, but, made of stone?
How do you know what Coruscant's Jedi Temple looks like? You've never been.
Hey, I've seen holo images. They laughed as the pair admired its wonder. It was beautiful. In a way, they felt at home here. More than they ever felt at Tython. That feeling was short-lived as they received a communication from the Enclave.
Welcome, Padawans. Please send the clearance codes.
R1, send the clearance codes.
After a brief pause, the ray shield powered down.
Acknowledged. You are cleared for passage. The Enclave receives few visitors, so do remember to respect its customs. The walls always remember those who do not respect the customs.
Yeah, that's not ominous at all.
The two landed their starfighters and exited their vessels. Before they could say anything, a few droids came out to take their starfighters and astromechs to their hangar. Just as the two were about to object, the gate before them opened, and with no other option, they stepped through the gate and into the winding mountain path. Moss-covered stone steps stretched far ahead, weaving through thick forest and rising fog. Golden leaves swayed overhead as the cool breeze drifted down from the peaks. Kyrol and Dasha walked steadily up the rocky mountain path, their boots crunching against the gravel and stone. The path winds around the rugged slopes, narrows in places, but just wide enough for the two to walk side by side. Scattered trees and gold-tipped leaves swayed gently in the high-altitude breeze. The sun cast a soft glow across the towering mountain range, painting the scene in warm hues. They briefly paused. Wow, it's stunning. Dasha nods slightly, her eyes scanning the vast horizon. The peaks of Paxara stretched in all directions. The land below seemed so far away. Distant cities and shimmering lakes barely visible through the rising mist. The two continued forward. As they reached the summit, the view opens up. Nestled atop the highest plateau sat the Enclave, a serene structure carved into the mountain itself. The walls were made of a smooth stone, patterned with gold accent lines that shimmered under the sun. In the courtyard, a majestic tree with golden leaves stands tall, its branches dancing softly in the wind. At the far end, massive gold doors stand closed, ancient, yet pristine. It looks peaceful here. He glances at Dasha as she smiles faintly, thinking the same thing. They walk towards the doors, taking slow, respectful steps. Just as Kyrol reaches out to push them open, the golden doors open by themselves, gliding slightly inward. The interior was breathtaking. Smooth stone walls, gracefully carved, glimmering with veins of gold running through them. Light filters down from the skylight above, bathing the chamber in a natural golden hue. At the center of the entryway stands another tree, smaller than the one outside, but equally beautiful. Its golden leaves glistening in the light. A few Jedi Masters and younglings pass by, speaking quietly. The Masters wore flowing robes with golden accents, their movements calm and composed. The younglings wore simple gold tunics with white sashes. They glanced curiously at the newcomers as they passed by. Kyrol and Dasha remained still, gazing at the tree. A stillness washed over them. The Enclave itself radiated peace of mind. Kyrol looks at Dasha. She meets his gaze silently. Wish Liam could see this place. How peaceful it is. He could really use a trip here. Dasha smiles softly, nodding in agreement.
Yeah, he really could.
Soon, a small Jedi Master approached. The Jedi Master was unlike any creature they had ever seen. He had light brown skin and pointed ears. His left eye was badly damaged, most likely from a lightsaber strike, and his other eye was brown, fixed upon them. He wore a golden tunic underneath a flowing golden robe.
Greetings. I am Headmaster Iakob. It is a pleasure to meet you both.
Kyrol and Dasha bow respectfully.
I've heard many stories from someone I believe you both know quite well. Your friend, Dagon Ozel.
At the mention of that name, Kyrol and Dasha paused, exchanging a glance. It had been 3 months since they last saw Dagon. After repeated inquiries and silence, they feared the worst. Hearing he was okay brings visible relief. Headmaster, where is Dagon? We'd like to see him. Catch up and hear how he's doing.
Unfortunately, Dagon is currently on an assignment with his new master. He is not expected to return for another month.
I understand.
But rest assured, I will let him know that you were asking about him. He'd be glad to hear it.
The two bow happily as he shows them around the Enclave, while going over its history.
Come now, let me show you around and tell you the story of this place.
They begin to walk, a soft echo in their footsteps blending with the serene hum of the Enclave. Kyrol walked to the right of Master Iakob while Dasha stood close to the left. As they made their way towards the northern wing, Dasha couldn't stop glancing at Iakob's damaged eye. Every few seconds, her curiosity nudged her to ask, but she held back. Before she could speak, Iakob looked at her and smiled kindly.
You would like to know what happened to my eye?
Dasha blinked, caught off guard.
I'm sorry for staring, Master. I was just curious.
Iakob gave a reassuring nod.
It's all right, my friends. You see, I fought in one of the battles on Rusan. A Sith. She wielded a light whip and struck me across the eye.
That must have hurt.
It did, but it also helped me see more clearly with the Force.
They continued walking deeper into the Enclave until they reached the North Wing. There, near the council chambers, a golden sphere floated gently above a pedestal. The sphere itself was small and could easily be held in someone's hand, and had a glowing golden light. Dasha's eyes widened as she pointed towards it.
What's that?
Kyrol nodded his head, noticing it too. It's beautiful. Iakob smiled and gestured towards the sphere.
That is the Eye of the Sun. It is a powerful light-side artifact I discovered here over 200 years ago, when this place was still in ruins.
The three stand near the golden pedestal holding the glowing Eye of the Sun. What does it do?
The Eye of the Sun was created by the Orvi, a group of Force healers who settled on the eastern islands of Paxara. After a catastrophe involving one of our own, they abandoned those islands and fled here.
Kyrol and Dasha exchanged curious looks.
What happened on those islands?
Iakob's expression darkens.
The dead walk on the island.
Kyrol and Dasha glance at each other, a chill running down their spines. The dead walk?
It is a long story, but I will tell you this. One Orvi healer tried to stop death itself. He created another sphere, powered by one of the crystals found on the island. This one here protects, heals, and sustains life. But the sphere made corrupts and controls. It absorbs a person's essence, twisting them into mindless monsters.
What happened to it?
An agent of the Civic Sentinel Command helped myself and other Jedi defeat a Sith cult, survivors of the Battle of Ruusan, who found the artifact. But during the chaos, the Eye of Shadows was lost, its connection broken, and the dead began to swarm the island uncontrollably.
So now the island's guarded?
Yes, and the island remains uncharted.
The Eye of the Sun pulses gently as silence falls. Without another word, Iakob gestures to the pair to follow him down the hallway towards the west wing. As they walk, Kyrol asks Iakob about the crystals he mentioned and what they were. Master, you mentioned some kind of crystal. What are they?
Auric crystals are powerful crystals that feed on ambition. The Jedi use them in their lightsabers here. They are quite different from the kyber crystals you are accustomed to, as they shine a crystal-clear gold color instead of the many colors of the kyber crystal.
Kyrol and Dasha look at each other as they head towards the west wing of the Enclave. There stood 5 rooms. The main trial room, lightsaber training room, a special meditation room, or as they call it, a force training room, an environmental simulator, and an agility room. Kyrol and Dasha peek into one of the rooms. Inside, a youngling trains with a lightsaber training droid made entirely of gold. They noticed the youngling's training lightsaber was gold too, glowing with a soft yellow light. Kyrol turns to Iakob, filled with curiosity. Those training sabers, they're gold. I've never seen that metal before. What is it?
That there is aurium. It is a rare mineral. In fact, it is rarer than Mandalorian Beskar.
Without thinking, Kyrol briefly touched the cold metal of his lightsaber, remembering how he used Beskar to craft his lightsaber. They continue to walk around the Enclave as Iakob explains the teachings of the Enclave.
So you teach the dark side? Why? I thought it was prohibited for Jedi to teach the dark side.
Iakob nods his head in understanding.
Yes, we do teach the dark side, but to find balance within yourself. It is important to understand that everyone has a dark side. Even me. Understanding your darkness and not letting it consume you will make you whole. But make no mistake, Dasha, we are still Jedi, and we will follow the light.
These words resonated with the young Padawans. If only Liam had been with them, he could really use Iakob's help. Iakob continued talking as they walked around the enclave, showing them the ins and outs of the entire building.
Balance is key to life, my friends. It is like the moons of Tython, Ashla and Bogan. Without both, Tython would not be what it is today. They flow together in perfect harmony, just as we do here. Now come, I would like to show you both something.
The two follow Iakob, curious to what he wants to show them. He takes them to a special training room. They stand there, on an elevated platform. Beside them were fellow knights and masters, each one greeting Iakob with a bow as he returned the gesture. Below was a Padawan, no older than 12, running through an intricate obstacle course full of dangers as well as training droids. Master, what is this?
This, my friend, is one of the many trials our students face here. This is the trial of agility. As the name suggests, this trial tests our students' physical capabilities.
It's so different compared to what we have ever done. They stand there, amazed by the skill of the student. She was running and dodging obstacles with ease, something that Kyrol would definitely struggle with, especially during his youngling training. Soon, another Jedi walks in, and Iakob leaves the room as the pair continue to watch the student. She finishes the course with ease, with the other knights and masters clapping. Kyrol and Dasha join in as well, catching the student's attention as she smiles with pride and joy. Iakob walks back inside.
So, how was the trial of agility?
It was amazing.
I think it's brilliant.
I thought you two would like it, but now, time to get down to business. We have a group of knowledgeable Jedi working on pinpointing the location of this facility. However, it may take a day or two to find its location. Until then, the Enclave is at your disposal.
The three continue to walk around, Iakob showing them other meditation chambers and training rooms used for daily training. Soon, the sun began to set.
And here are your quarters, Kyrol. I hope you have a good night, my friend.
Kyrol bowed in respect as Iakob returned the gesture with a soft smile. He and Dasha walk off as his door slid shut. Taking a deep breath, Kyrol looked around at his temporary quarters. The room was entirely made of the same stone, with a single window next to the bed, with a simple desk and chair. Along both sides of the wall were two banners, each one with part of the Jedi Code written in white. Kyrol placed his hand on one of the banners, closing his eyes, and read aloud, "There is no death. There is the Force." Slowly, he opened his eyes and removed his hand from the banner, placing his lightsaber on his desk before laying on the bed. It wasn't as comfortable as the ones on Tython, but it would do. He closes his eyes and begins to drift off to sleep. With a jolt, Kyrol opens his eyes and looks around. He was back to the same vision that had been plaguing his mind for years. Though this time, it was a bit clearer. Nearby, he could see a house. It was a simple design, almost like the home of a farmer. As he looked around, he could see a tree. It was an older tree, but still stood strong. Hearing a little girl laugh, he turns his head in a panic and sees the same man and young girl with fiery red hair. Kyrol starts walking towards them, but his pace sped up. Before long, he was running towards them, yet they seemed to get further and further away each time he got closer. As he sprinted, Kyrol tripped on something, landing face first in the dirt. Getting back up, it was dark, and he could feel heavy rain as he saw some kind of temple or enclave ahead. Kyrol runs towards the temple but stops in his tracks, seeing the same little girl running towards the temple followed by the hooded man. Without warning, Kyrol hears a lightsaber. It was menacing and echoed in the darkness. He begins to breathe heavily as he slowly turns around to see a being, fully cloaked in black, carrying a blood-red lightsaber. All he could hear was the hissing of raindrops hitting the hot blade. Kyrol stood there, frozen in fear as the figure charged towards him, and just as they were about to strike, he jolts awake, hyperventilating and covered in sweat. His heart beating at a speed he'd never felt before. He slowly clasped his chest, trying to calm himself, yet he couldn't. Whatever this vision was, it was getting worse. He had to tell someone, but no, he couldn't. He could barely comprehend them himself. How could someone else understand them? Sitting on the edge of the bed, he contemplated his next course of action. Looking out the window, he saw that the sun had barely risen, so he took a hot shower and changed into a fresh tunic. He grabbed his lightsaber, fixing it to his belt. Kyrol took one more deep breath before leaving his quarters and made his way to one of the meditation chambers. As he walked, it was quiet. The only sound were his footsteps as they echoed around the enclave. Finding a quiet room with a simple garden and a small stream, he sat, before closing his eyes and assuming a meditative position, listening to the sound of the flowing water, trying to calm his mind. After a while, he opened his eyes in frustration. He still couldn't calm his mind, no matter how hard he tried. After a long moment of silent contemplation, he remembered an old technique Master Kazina taught him early in his training. It was a technique she always used to clear her mind. It had been years since Kyrol used it, but right now, it seemed like the only option. Taking a deep breath, he unhooked his lightsaber from his belt, placing it in front of him on the pristine marble floor. He once again closed his eyes and began humming a simple tune. Slowly, his lightsaber began to levitate before disassembling. Each piece was gently lowered until only the kyber crystal was left. Even with his eyes closed, Kyrol could still see the glow of his sapphire crystal. His posture, once shaken, had become relaxed and at peace. Opening his eyes, the lightsaber reassembled itself. As he turned, he saw Master Iakob standing at the entrance. Master Iakob, I apologize for being... The wise master simply raised his hand.
No need to apologize, young one. As I said, the Enclave is at your disposal.
Kyrol nods his head in understanding as Iakob tilts his head slightly in a curious manner.
What form of meditation was that, Kyrol? I have never seen it in the archives, or practiced by any Jedi in all my centuries alive.
Oh, it's something my master taught me. It was taught to her by her instructor, Loporn. It's supposed to help clear the mind when one is troubled. Iakob strokes his chin, with both curiosity and concern.
Your mind is troubled, isn't it, young one?
Kyrol realized what he told him. He wanted to lie, or find some way out of the conversation, but in his heart, he knew he had to talk about these visions. Yes, I've been having visions for years. They started when I first got my kyber crystal in Ilum, and again after we first defeated Don Win in the Shadow Cult. And ever since, they persisted. It's always been the same, or very similar to ones before. He closed his eyes tight, his hands shaking. I had another one last night, or this morning. I can't remember which. I saw a man and a girl running towards some kind of temple during a storm, and... Kyrol paused, opening his eyes, and takes a deep breath. Behind me was this dark figure wielding a red lightsaber. Just as it attacked me, it stopped. Master, why am I having these visions? What do they mean? Iakob strokes his chin, deep in thought. He stops as he walks towards Kyrol, placing a hand on his shoulder.
I believe the Force is trying to tell you something.
What does it mean? And why?
On that, I cannot say. That is something for you to find out on your own, young one. But remember, as long as you trust in the Force, you will always be okay.
Kyrol's hand still shook slightly. Iakob notices this and takes a seat next to the young Padawan.
Young one, show me this meditation you were doing earlier. Perhaps together, your mind will become clear once more.
Kyrol nods and reassumes a meditative position as Iakob follows suit. First, you must place your lightsaber in front of you like this. Following his instructions, Iakob places his lightsaber right in front of him, on the marble floor. Then close your eyes and hum this tune. Iakob does as he says and begins to hum the tune. Now, focus on the energy of the crystal and the force. Let it clear your mind. Kyrol once again begins to hum the tune as well, in sync with Iakob. Slowly, both their lightsabers levitate and disassemble. The room is filled with the glow of sapphire and amber. For the next hour, the pair sit in the tranquil chamber, the only sound being their tune. Slowly, they raise their hands and clap them together. Their once disassembled weapons are slowly put back together with the Force, as they slowly descend back to the marble flooring. The pair open their eyes, as the glow of the rising sun blinds them for a moment before their eyes readjust. Thank you, Master Iakob.
And thank you, young one.
Kyrol looks at Iakob in confusion as Iakob chuckled slightly.
I now have a new lesson to teach my students. But remember what I said. So long as you trust in the Force, you will always be okay.
Kyrol nods his head in agreement as the pair leave the meditation chamber. The Enclave had become far more louder than before, as Jedi went about their morning routines, each one bowing to both Iakob and Kyrol in respect.
You know, for someone who claims not to be a morning person, you sure like to get up early.
The pair turn around to find Dasha leaning against a pillar with her arms crossed and having a cocky grin. Hey, it doesn't hurt to change up the routine. Dasha rolled her eyes at the comment before joining the pair. Without saying a word, Iakob makes a gesture for the two to walk beside him. Iakob was silent, simply listening to the banter between Kyrol and Dasha. He didn't know why, but they seemed to complement each other more than most Jedi, like two halves of the same whole. The three continued to walk as the Padawans simply admired the architecture of the ancient enclave, while Iakob leads them to an outside training area. It was a clear and warm day with no clouds and a soft breeze. There, below a few steps, was a training area. At the center was a beautiful blossoming tree with its petals glowing with a beauty neither Padawan had ever seen. Standing in small dark circles around the tree were Jedi Padawans, no older than 11 years old. On the steps stood 4 Jedi instructors, each one watching a group of Padawans with a calm, neutral expression. All the instructors looked back to see Iakob and greeted him with a respectful bow. Iakob returned the gesture as they simply watched the class. One Padawan, maybe 9 or 10 years old, trips while deflecting a shot from a training remote.
Mind your footwork, Zenavan.
Zenavan nods and gets back up, but quickly falls again after trying to use a powerful two-handed strike to block a blaster shot. She keeps trying powerful blocks, but keeps failing. Noticing her use of Form 5, Kyrol shakes his head before going over to the Padawan, but is stopped by the instructor. Iakob clears his throat, as the instructor reluctantly lets Kyrol help Zenavan. Dasha as well notices a pair of Padawans practicing Form 1, but they keep messing up their coordination and timing, hitting each other with the wooden staffs they were practicing with. She goes to assist the students as well. Though Dasha favored Form 6, she knew a lot about Form 1, not only from her days as a youngling, but from Master Harkin, who was a master of Form 1. You're focusing too much on the blade and power. While that is important, your footwork is necessary to maintain balance when using Form 5. Watch how I position my feet when blocking. Using Zenavan's lightsaber, he blocks 5 sets of blaster shots, leaving Zenavan amazed by his skill. Now you try. With renewed determination, Zenavan tries again, starting with 1 shot, then 2, and soon she's blocking every shot with ease as Kyrol observes her footwork and power with each block. Good job. Always remember that strength will only get you so far in a duel. He catches what he said, and couldn't help but smile. By the Force, I sound like my master. Dasha helps the Padawan stance with Form 1, making sure they both have a strong, ready stance, before going over each individual movement with them, correcting any mistakes they made. Soon, the pair are in perfect sync with each other, performing each move as if it was a dance. Iakob stood on the steps, watching the pair helping the next generation. He knew that they'd one day make great Jedi instructors. He also had an idea brewing in his mind that he couldn't wait to try. After a while, they bowed to the Padawans before returning to Iakob as they left. He escorts them to the cafeteria to relax while he tends to another matter. The two bow before grabbing a few canisters of water and finding a quiet place to sit, overlooking the beautiful forest.
I have to admit, it's nice here.
It is. I only wish Liam could have enjoyed it with us.
Guess we have a reason to come back then.
The two chuckle.
You know, once we become masters, we could ask to be relocated here.
Leave Tython? Really? She shrugs her shoulders.
It's not the worst idea. Besides, Paxara feels like home. I can't explain it, but...
Kyrol places his hand on Dasha's in a loving manner. I know what you mean. I like that plan too. The two have a quiet moment before the conversation takes a more serious turn.
So, Kyrol, this vision we had, what do you think it means?
I don't know. Believe me, I wish I did, but all I know is that it called to us for a reason, and we must find out why. They continue to talk about the vision and what to make of it until Iakob returns.
Well, it should just be a few more minutes until our Jedi have pinpointed the location of your vision. Until then, could you both follow me, please?
Once again, they follow Iakob, this time to an indoor training room. Upon entering, they noticed it was completely empty, leaving the pair confused.
I was wondering if you two could duel. I'd very much like to see your skills in person.
They once again look at each other, even more confused, but get ready to face each other, as always.
Oh, no. Not each other.
Then who?
Me.
Shrugging their shoulders, they agreed, and unhooked their lightsabers from their belts. Kyrol assumed a Gemso stance, while Dasha assumed her Neiman stance. Iakob pulled his robe back, and used the Force to pull his lightsaber to his hands, igniting the Ember blade while taking an Ataru stance. In a quick blur of light, Iakob is the first to engage, using his size and speed to his advantage, catching the two off guard. Kyrol blocks an overhead attack as Dasha moves in with a quick jab that Iakob holds back with the Force, the green blade pulling back ever so slightly before he releases her blade. Iakob jumps into the air to block a powerful two-handed strike by Kyrol, but is momentarily stunned by the power of the attack, as he hits Iakob in the face with the pommel of his lightsaber, before going for an upward strike. But Iakob parries the attack with lightning precision. Dasha splits her lightsaber in two and throws one of the blades as Iakob parries it, sending it back her direction as she catches it. Iakob bounced off of every wall in every corner of the room, his speed truly unmatched. As they fought, Iakob noticed how in sync Kyrol and Dasha were. Their movements were precise and fluid. His strength and her agility were a true marvel to witness. He jumps over Kyrol, but is pushed back by the Force by Dasha, landing on the floor feet first. Iakob shuts off his lightsaber and uses the Force to turn off all the lights. The Padawans stand back to back as Dasha reattaches her lightsabers, their only source of light coming from their lightsabers. The pair slowly circle around, waiting for Iakob's next strike. Iakob, while in the air, slammed his amber blade onto Dasha's dark green, as she blocked it with both of her lightsabers before using the momentum to push Iakob over her shoulder, as Kyrol uses the Force to pull Iakob towards him, landing on the ground, as Kyrol uses a powerful two-handed downward strike that is blocked by Iakob before he pushes both of them back with the Force. The lights turn on as Iakob shuts off his lightsaber before bowing to the Padawans.
Your skills are certainly impressive, my friends. You both are great duelists.
Wow, you hear that, Dasha? Great duelist! Dasha rolls her eyes at the comment as another Jedi enters the room. Sorry to interrupt, Headmaster, but we have found the location. Inside the briefing room, Kyrol, Dasha, Iakob, and a few other Jedi are looking at a hologram of the Enclave and a nearby forest.
So whatever is calling you to is on this planet. However, it is an area that we have marked off for now.
Why?
This area is strong with the dark side, and at the center of this darkness is an ancient facility created during the Sith Wars, and we have forbidden anyone from entering.
Kyrol notices Iakob's demeanor shift to that of slight fear and worry. Soon, Master Kazina joins in via hologram. Kyrol wanted to ask how the 53rd was doing, but had no time as Iakob relayed all the information to her.
With this being as dangerous as you say, I'll be sending a small detachment to Paxara for extra protection. They'll be arriving tomorrow.
Hologram flickers off as they leave the briefing room. There's something you're not telling us, Master. Your expression says it all. We will not go until you tell us everything. Kyrol stands there defiant, with his arms crossed, as Dasha adopts a similar posture as well. Iakob sighed.
That place was once used for experiments. Dark and twisted experiments. So we closed it off, hoping to never hear of it again. And to know that this is where you both must venture has me scared. More scared than I have ever been.
Kyrol and Dasha looked at each other. This had gotten far worse than either had prepared for, but they knew they must press on. They were ready for whatever they would face.